All right, guys, this is it, our first content release. I just want to say thank you for tuning in, and I hope you guys find this information that we provide to you valuable. I want to introduce Coach Mike. He's one of my athletes. He's also one of our club coaches, and he's a physical therapist, and he's dedicating his time to help you guys move better. So enjoy. Thank you.
Hey guys, over the course of the next week, we're going to be giving you some new mobility drills to be working on. I just want to intro it with kind of a conceptual framework for how I approach mobility. The way I think about it is as controlled range of motion. So it's not just passively being able to get into a position, it's being able to actively put your body in that position and be solid there. So the three things that I'm going to be going over are some breathing drills to kind of create some centerline stability, which helps your extremities move more easily. And then we're going to be going over two general concepts called CARs and pails and rails, which come from the functional range conditioning. This is a kind of specific position I like to help teach people how to do a more diaphragmatic breath. Diaphragmatic breathing is useful for a couple different things. It's useful for actually calming yourself down, but it's also useful for weightlifting, for learning how to really establish some nice stability at your center line. Because if your center line's weak, all of your lifts are going to be crap. You're not going to be able to get into good positions. So just general daily life benefits plus activity benefits. The reason I like this position is because it helps line up the pelvis, line up the rib cage to let the diaphragm expand a little more down more easily. So what I'm going to have Chris do here is his heels are going to dig lightly into the bench just so you feel the hamstrings working and it kind of tilts the pelvis a little bit. Then he's going to squeeze the foam roller lightly just because it helps kind of turn on the pelvic floor a little bit and give kind of some resistance in the pelvis for when you get that breath. Then what he's going to do, like he's doing now, is exhale fully. If you focus on the exhale first, it makes the whole thing easier. Then he's just going to try and let the inhale come in. We're looking for that expansion, kind of 360 all the way around like an umbrella or a balloon. And we want the breath to go all the way out. You should feel tension when you get that air out. Good. And then just let the inhale come in. So a lot of times, if you're feeling like your hips are really stiff, just going through a few breaths like this can help improve that mobility and decrease that stiffness. And then if you're ever feeling really anxious, if you feel like your breathing is stuck really, really high, your sympathetic nervous system is just on, about 12 good relaxed diaphragmatic breaths will help dial back that system and kind of get you into that rest and digest and relax mode. Guys, so the first thing we are going to work on here is how to use breathing to improve positions. So the first thing we're going to do here is just have Chris get into his kind of essentially finishing position. So we want chest up, we want elbows turned out, and then all I want him to do here is go through 10 to 12 full exhales. I want him to get all the air out. Just kind of let the inhale come in. The goal here is to not let your position change. Some of you, like me, are going to feel a lot of tension up through the shoulders when you do this. So if you have trouble getting into that internally rotated position, this is going to be a good way to work on that without having to do anything really complicated. All right, we're not going to go through all 10 because it should take a little while. But if you notice, air's coming all the way out, his core is going to get a little bit tighter, and then if he was super tight, he'd be having to work kind of hard to hold this position. The next one we're going to demo from here is overhead, right? Exact same thing. All we're going to do, get a good breath in, then get all the air out without letting yourself come out of the position you want to be in, right? So here we see a little bit of struggle because he's having to work a little bit harder as that rib cage comes down because he's having to fight against himself a little bit. This idea we just carry over into any position you're working on, whether it's overhead, whether it's a hang, or whether it's fully from the starting position. Now, one other thing you can do up here that I like is actually try to breathe into your upper back. It can be kind of tricky. Don't be concerned if you can't quite do it off the get-go. It takes a little bit of work.